Hey everybody, I have a wonderful special guest. Tom has joined me. His channel name is TomSka, so don't get confused.
Hi, I'm Tom. I'm a comedy writer and director. Comedy is subjective, so maybe it's not funny. Well, that's your opinion. Do you find it funny? I work with a lot of themes pertaining to suicide. Like suicide is
dark humor.
One of the most recurring themes, which I feel like is probably a bit of a taboo in your line of work.
I wouldn't say it's a taboo.
Okay.
I think that it's like a healthy outlet. And I think of your comedy as a way to express something maybe you're feeling. And so I think for many people out there, it could be really helpful to see it in another way and be like, I feel that way too.
Interesting.
Tom has come normally be on my couch, but today it's pillow talk with TomSka.
We're in a bed.
Here we are.
This is
nothing awkward about this or anything. Because we're in DC at Playlist Live. So when anybody comes on my couch or my bed, apparently now, I always ask them, when did you first become aware of your mental health? Or even just the topic of mental health? When was it addressed?
So for context, I am a diagnosed severe depressive. And basically, I think my mental health issues were triggered by grief, probably guilt as well. I've always had a massive problem with my temper, but I actually became a depressive when I was going through grief. I lost a friend to cancer, and I just I spiraled and hit the denial stage really hard, and got very stressed out. And after about a year of that, I just completely snapped. And that was the point where I finally went to seek professional help and reach out to other people and admit to myself that I wasn't going to just overcome this with sheer force of will. Like
fight through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how old were you?
I was 21 when I experienced the grief, and 22 at the point that I decided to get help. And oh my gosh, I guess I was 23 by the time I actually got around to the doctors.
So you sought help. What was your experience? I get a lot of questions about like first appointments and finding the right fit. I'm already kind of asking this because I already kind of know the answer because we were just on a panel.
Yeah.
But what's your experience been with professionals?
The first appointment was a train wreck when I went to the doctors, because the second I got in that room, I think as a bit of a performer, I was immediately like, I'm fine. Why, everything's fine. And I just couldn't be depressed at the doctor, which is the one person I needed to express myself to. But it was fine. The doctor understood. They referred me to one of the three. Was it a therapist? Who's the first one?
What do you mean, like
psychotherapist?
That's me.
Yep. So I went to a psychotherapist. They put me towards a therapist, and also I got recommended some drugs
from a psychiatrist.
From a psychiatrist, assumedly. There was a lot of people involved.
It's really confusing, all the names too. Yeah. Like, which one does this? What does this mean?
Exactly. But
about that.
Yes, absolutely. So I wound up on a drug, citalopram, 20 milligrams, and then. And also with a therapist, and after a while I wasn't really gelling with a therapist, and then we ended up doubling the dosage of the citalopram, and then I think quadrupling it, and then I went on another drug called venlafaxine, which had horrible side effects for me personally, and it was actually during the time on that drug, the 6 months I was on that drug, that I gained roughly 80 pounds. And became the man you see before you now.
No, but did you speak up to your doctor? Did they make any changes for that?
It was too late. By the time I eventually just came off the venlafaxine very abruptly. Big mistake. Once I realized
withdrawal's a real thing.
It was really bad. I was sick for like a week, like physically sick. And so basically I went through I tried a lot of different things, and eventually I ended up going back to citalopram, 20 milligrams. It was good at taking the edge off, especially my nasty temper, but also just making everything a little bit more predictable.
Yeah, like even keeled, I guess.
Yeah, because I still have the ups and the downs, but when I'm behaving myself and not self-medicating with alcohol, because I'm an idiot.
And it's a depressant too, but it, and it can make it worse. That's okay. It's not stupid. It's very normal.
But yeah, like when I'm behaving myself with that as well, it definitely does help me a lot. But the point being that everyone has a very different, reaction to everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you feel that medication, like for all intents and purposes, keeps you doing well, keeps you alive, able to create?
Yeah,
or do you feel like you need changes? Or
I went off medication. I was off medication for a good 8 months, I think. Okay. And I was fine for a little while. And I think that's when people go off medication, is usually when they feel fine. And
Yeah.
like, I'm great, I don't need it anymore. And steadily over 8 months, I got worse and worse and worse until I was in a huge hole again. I felt my entire world unraveling, like professionally speaking. But after a while, I eventually went, okay, it's time to try this route again. And the second time around, it was much better. So I've experimented with different medications, different therapists, different, just not doing it at all. And I finally think I found the one that works for me.
Uh-huh.
And that was about a 2-year journey. So yeah, I think when I talk to people about this, I don't want to give them the false hope of they'll go to the doctors and they'll be fixed tomorrow. It's it is a journey.
Yeah, and I'm glad you say that too, because a lot of people think by the time, because it can take us 2 years to reach out.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. And then if we're waiting on a wait list, it can take longer. And I think just knowing once you're in the process, sticking with it and knowing that it's worth it, and there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even though we can't see it at the moment. But once you start reaching out for help and getting professional help, just speak up. Tell them how you're doing. Tell them if it's making you eat at night. But just being honest with your team so they know how to best help you. And so that you don't stay on a medication or in a treatment regimen or with a therapist that you just don't like.
I have a color-coded system for my friends to know how I'm doing mentally.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome. I have code yellows, orange, reds, and blacks. A code yellow is I don't feel good. So I might be half an hour late to work. A code orange is oh, this day sucks. So that's usually when I end up leaving work early. A code red is a full scale shutdown. It's I'm bad now. I'm bad. I would appreciate some company because I'm in a real hole. And the code black is I'm suicidal. And I've never experienced a code black, but it's good to have it there. For a friend so instead, because it could be very. I imagine if I ever were suicidal, I'm not going to just mess someone and be I'm suicidal. I'm gonna just. I might.
We're not able to express it. Usually.
So it's I have in the same way train stations do it. When there's an emergency, I have a thing so if I ever tweet out code black, lots of my friends I think know to be it's a race to get to Tom's house fast. It's very dramatic, I know, but it's that's what I have in place. That's the system I have in place.
That's awesome, so that your support team knows. And I think that's being really resourceful. And I always tell people having a support team, whether it's online, whether it's in person. I think it's best to at least have one or two that could be there in person relatively quickly. But that's great. And so, do you find being on YouTube is a healthy outlet for you, the dark comedy?
Oh, the dark comedy, yes. So on a creative outlet, definitely. I know that men especially have a massive issue with expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And hence have a disproportionately high suicide rate. And I think I channel a lot of my own darkness into my comedy. I talk about things very openly, and I think that helps keep me slightly leveled out. So yeah, in the comedy element, sure, that works fine. That's great. I write some of my best stuff when I'm in an absolute hole.
Why is that?
I don't know.
I like to write
because I hate when I'm hating my own reality. I want to create a new one, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm creative in that time. What I do know is that it's much easier to talk to a camera than to a real person because of my line of work.
It can be intimidating.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. When anybody comes on the couch, I always end the session, if you want to call it that,
by billing me for $180.
No, I'm not that expensive. But by asking them what advice they would give to a younger them. Pre-21-year-old TomSka.
Yeah, that's the thing is I feel when you ask a lot of people like this, I feel probably a lot of people you meet developed mental health issues younger.
Yeah.
I think I'm quite an interesting case in that it was triggered by I think one traumatic event.
Yeah.
Because I'd always been a bit of an emotional guy, but so there's not much I could really. There's not much I could really tell my younger self other than maybe to brace for impact a little bit more because when I did suddenly experience grief, it was such a huge shock that because I'd done absolutely everything in my power to not prepare for it. I'd taken this absolute denial was so sky high to the point that I was guilty. That I felt like a shitty friend because I'd been we'd just be you're fine, you're not gonna die. I didn't plan anything. And actually because we didn't plan anything in the event of my friend dying, it actually controlled the next 4 years of my life because I was kind of stuck cleaning up his estate.
Yeah, because there was no preparation.
Yeah, so it would just be to prepare a bit more, but that's very specific to me.
Yeah, but I could blanket statement that. I could say having your support system in general, always preparing yourself to have coping skills available, people available, resources available.
What is it? Hope for the best, plan for the worst
Yeah.
or something.
Exactly.
Maybe that's a good motto to give my
Yeah.
younger self.
That's the answer. Final answer.
That'll do.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me
Yeah.
in your room, on your bed.
I know. Pillow talk. TomSka. Ding. But like I said, we did a video over on his channel, and you can click over here to check it out, and I'll put the link in the description. And yeah.
We're talking all about depression, and I've taken a lot of people's questions, and we're going to be doing a very broad video about all things depression.
Yeah, it's going to be a
It's
great
going to be
video.
fun. It's going to be a real blast.
It's such a party. Are you ready?
A riot.
But if you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to me and TomSka, and I will see you next time.
So are we down the lens, or
You be you.
I'm gonna be me?
Okay.
So good.
Yay. If you feel like you're gaining weight for no
I'm eating
reason,
all the time. I'm hungry right now.
I am too. I'm so hungry.
Hungry.
Sweet Jesus.
Kawaii.
Cool. That was easy peasy.
Yeah, man.